Hello, everyone. My name is Cassie Gosen, and I am super excited to be with everyone tonight. Obviously, if you're jumping on from our team and you're thinking, oh man, there's a lot of faces I don't recognize, this is obviously our first combined team call in a little while. We have the amazing Darla French, who is a senior Ruby ambassador who lives in Wisconsin, right?
No, I live in Illinois.
Oh, Illinois, whatever.
Same thing. Cornfield.
Midwest. She's a Midwest person now. She used to be a Texas girl. Now she's a Midwest girl. It's all the same. So we are combined teams tonight. It's super exciting. I am excited to share my story with you guys. I'm excited to share some fun stuff that I just accumulated this weekend on a fun little retreat, which we'll get into later. But I'm going to start off just sharing with you guys my Plexus testimony as short and concise as possible. I tend to be a little bit wordy, but I'm going to shorten it up, give you all the highlights, and feel free. Well, I think we should probably plan a little question and answer time at the end, because I know people from my team will probably have questions. You guys on Darla's team might have questions for me, and I love to have it super interactive. And so that's also why I'll keep it kind of condensed and then fill in the blanks later. So I first heard about Plexus actually in February of 2014. So 4 years ago this month was the first time I heard about Plexus. And I totally just, scrolled past it is probably the best way to say that. And then my dear friend Renee invited me to her house for what will become known as a sip and see. At the time, I think it was just a party or an event. I don't think they even called them sip and sees back then. It was just, come hear about Plexus. And I decided to go and be a supportive friend, but I had no interest in the products or the business or anything like that. And I went that night, and here, the funniest part that I always include, even though it's a minor detail, is that I heard a testimony that night that reminded me of one of my best friends. And I thought, oh my goodness, this could change her life. So I actually took a catalog, and that friend was actually staying with me here in Minnesota. She's from Oregon. She was staying with me, but didn't want to come to the event with me. So I came back to my house. I gave her the catalog, gave her my friend's name, and I said, you need to order this because it's going to help your gut issues. And she had severe gut issues and bowel issues and digestive issues, all of this. And she looked at it and she said, oh my goodness, I'll try anything for the price that's listed, because I've tried probiotics that were $80. And she said, this is amazing prices. I'll try it. And she's now been on it for 4 years, and it's been amazing for her. But it was just hilarious because I was so not interested, but I gave my friend a customer that first night. And that was my introduction to Plexus. Well, kind of backing up a little bit, I had just given birth. I had a 6-week-old and a 13-month-old. And so my second son was born, and he was a pretty normal baby, but all of a sudden, probably when he was about a week to 2 weeks old, we noticed he had a lot of trouble seemingly to digest food. And so every time he would eat, he'd be fine. He was a great eater, but he would then cry for about an hour until he could poop. And you could tell he was obviously in pain. And so we were doing gripe water. We were doing pumping the legs, bicycling the legs, rubbing the tummy with oils and all the things you're supposed to do to help a baby who has digestive issues. He didn't have reflux. He just had tummy troubles going the opposite end. And he was very cranky because of that. And so he cried a ton, cried and cried and cried, would cry, wouldn't sleep. And at that Plexus event, I remember I met this gal named Wendy, and she said, oh, you need this for your baby. And I thought, you're crazy. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm not going to give my baby some pink drink or, whatever. He's 6 weeks old. We'll figure it out. So for the next almost 3 months, I basically did everything they tell you to do. I cut out dairy. I cut out this. I cut out that. I cut out this out of my diet because I was exclusively breastfeeding, and he was doing great and had a great milk supply. But I just thought we're going to get through this. Well, we weren't sleeping. The only person who was getting sleep in the house was our 13-month-old because he had his own bedroom and he just slept great, 12 hours every night. And me and my husband were just at our wits' end. And I remember the day I was sitting on my couch. It was in the spring of 2014. I was sitting on my couch in the afternoon holding my finally sleeping baby, hoping that it would last more than an hour, and eating an Oreo and drinking coffee that was cold. And I remember thinking, this is what it's like to be a mom. I have arrived at motherhood because I feel like crap. And that was my legitimate thought. I thought, you're not supposed to feel good when you're a mom. You're not supposed to have energy. You're supposed to feel tired and run down and a hot mess. And so I was like, I've arrived. Cheers to me with my cold coffee and my Oreos, because that's what I'm living off of right now. And maybe when these boys are 18, I will feel normal. Maybe. I have no clue. I just remember so specifically sitting there thinking, I've arrived at motherhood because I feel awful. And most moms feel awful. So hooray for me. It was a terrible feeling. And I am not a super emotional person, but my hormones were a wreck and a half. And I assumed it was just because I had 2 pregnancies back to back. And I just assumed, well, maybe they'll get better eventually. Well, I had no clue that gut health also had a big factor in hormones. And in the last 10 weeks of my second pregnancy, I was on heavy antibiotics and 3 different types of intense painkillers because I had a severe situation with kidney stones that required surgery and all sorts of craziness. So I was in my gut health was in a mess and I had no clue. On the outside, I just looked like a tired, skinny mom. I didn't look unhealthy. I just probably looked tired. But no one would have ever thought that a weight loss supplement would change my life. So basically, I decided to try Plexus at my husband's nudging. He said, you need to try that stuff that Renee told you to try because we are at our wit's end and we need sleep. And I want sleep. I want Lincoln to feel better. I want you to feel better. And Renee, and these were his specific words, Renee would not put anything in her body that she had not thoroughly researched, which if I had thought about it 3 months previously, I probably should have trusted her because that is so true. She would not put anything in her body that she had not thoroughly researched. And so I thought, that's true. I should probably just give it a try. And he said, if it's $80 for that pink drink thing, just order up a month supply. And if it doesn't work, she said they have that money back guarantee. So we can just at least get our money back, circle the day on the calendar so we know when we have to call by. Okay, cool. We did it. And you guys, all of you are ambassadors. So I'll tell you the real nuts and bolt truth about my results. It didn't take me 6 weeks to get results. It didn't take me 30 days to get results. I had results in the first 7 days that absolutely changed my life. And so when I tell people to sell 7-day trials, it's not because I think it's a good, cheap way for someone to try the products. It's because I believe people can have life-changing results in 7 days. And for me, it was night and day different. On day 5, I remember I was feeling better. I had energy. I wasn't drinking coffee every day. I just wasn't craving it. And I remember one afternoon I picked up an apple for a snack and I thought, I'm not eating Oreos right now. This is amazing. Oreos and Sour Patch Kids were my staple afternoon snack. And so I was like, I was standing in the kitchen and I was like, an apple sounds really good. And I realized in that moment, maybe this is helping my sugar cravings. And then that night I went to bed and I had my little bassinet right back here next to me. My office is in my bedroom right now. So I had my little bassinet next to me and I nursed Lincoln, and every night I tried to put him in his bed to sleep, but he would wake up within an hour screaming and crying, and he only wanted to sleep if he was sitting on my chest. And so I put him down in bed and I lay down and I tried to fall asleep, and I fell asleep so incredibly fast. I couldn't believe how fast I fell asleep. And I woke up and the first thing, obviously new moms do this, no matter how many kids you have, but you look at the clock, how many hours have you slept? And I realized it had been 6 hours, and I honestly thought he must have died because he had never slept 6 hours in his 13 weeks of life. And I rolled over and I turned on the lamp and I looked, and he's just laying on his back, hands above his head, breathing easy and sleeping peacefully. And he had never slept more than 2 hours unassisted in 13 weeks. And I was like, what in the world? And the next day he had regular bowel movements without any trouble. He was a completely different baby, night and day different in 6 days. And then for me, on day 7, and I literally felt like something was changing in my body, and I felt like my hormones were being balanced. I don't even know how to describe it other than I felt like I was coming back to myself. And I thought, this is amazing. And I had signed up as a preferred customer because that's how skeptical I was. And so at the end of my first month, my next order came. And at the end of my second month, my husband said, okay, I want some now. So how do we get it for the best price so I can have some? And I said, well, there's this wholesale thing. And he said, oh, no, we don't sell anything. And I said, no way, I'm not losing any friends over this. And he said, okay, cool. Like, as long as we have a deal, you're not going to lose any friends, and we're not going to sell it. Then we can do that wholesale thing. So we did. We signed up for wholesale in June of 2014. And 2 weeks later, I got a paycheck from Plexus. And I was like, and this is when they still sent out paper checks. And I thought, why did I get a check for $25? Like, that's just so strange. I don't know why I got this. But I was like, well, it looks real, so I'll go deposit it in the bank and call it good. And July 15th rolls around, and I get a check in the mail for over $200. And I was like, I think I just stole money from this company, because I have no clue why I just got this money. That's $200. Maybe you get like a cashback special. I have no clue. So, but again, it looked real, so I went and deposited it. And that kept happening, except the checks kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I had no clue what was happening, other than I just kept thinking every day. I would think of someone like, oh my goodness, they just posted on Facebook that they need more energy, or they're sleeping horrible, or they have terrible sugar cravings, or they want to lose their baby weight. I'm a young mom, so I had tons of mom friends. And so every time I would think of someone, I'd just send them a Facebook message and say, hey, I'm trying this stuff, and it's called Plexus, and it's like this pink drink and probiotics and this stuff called BioCleanse, and it helps you poop, and do you want to try it? Here's my website. That was my message, guys. It was so magical and thought out. You can thank me later. That's literally what I said. I didn't know any, and if they wanted to know anything else, I literally would go and I would copy and paste the information that my sponsor had given me the first time she sent me all the details, and paste it in there. And guys, if I had printed that out, it would probably be like 2 pages long. I'm sure no one ever read it. It was a ridiculous amount of information. Oh, did you get but somehow these books just keep coming and coming. And I just kept thinking, this is great. My products are being paid for. My husband's products are being paid for. This is awesome. And I don't care how I'm making money. I didn't know anything about the comp plan. I didn't know what a diamond was. I didn't know what an emerald was. I kept getting these emails that said I was earning Leaders Retreat credits.
Kathy, can you mute Nikki?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm not the host, so I can't mute you. It's okay.
Yep, got it. I couldn't see who was unmuted.
No, you're fine.
So I kept getting these emails that said I was earning Leaders Retreat credits. And I was like, I don't know what Leaders Retreat is, and I don't know why I'm getting these credits, but okay, cool. I'm earning credits for this Leaders Retreat thing. And every email said, like, this is how many you've earned and this is what you need to qualify. And I just thought, oh, well, that seems impossible. So I'm not even going to try. I have no clue what that means or how I'm even getting these credits, but okay, whatever, good job for me. And then in October of 2014, I'm going to give myself the big view. Who's a silver in here? Anybody a silver? Raise your hand and wave at me. Or if you want to be silver, if you're not quite there yet and you want to get there. Okay, so this is my silver story. And so October 2014, I held my first party, and I invited I went out to Washington and invited my mom and my sister-in-laws because they were safe, and that was it. And I was like, I'll practice on them. And I literally held a catalog in front of me, and I had notes on the back of what to say about every page. And none of them ordered or signed up, guys. Not a single one of them. I was like, oh well. You win some, you lose some. It doesn't matter. Well, I got this email at the beginning of October in 2014, and it said, earn an iPad from Plexus. And I was like, they're giving away an iPad? And I thought, oh, this must be for those people that make a lot of money with this company. And if you're one of those people, they'll give you one. Well, then I read all the fine detail, and really the opportunity was for anyone to earn an iPad. You had to get 3 new customers, 3 new ambassadors, and 1,000 PV to earn an iPad. And I thought, oh, that PV thing. I've been getting like 900 PV all the time. I bet I could get 1,000 PV. So, okay, and 3 new customers. Well, if I get new customers, I think that's what makes my PV go up. So that would make sense. So then I could do that. And then I was like, how do I get ambassadors? I have no clue. And so then I thought, okay, who could I trick into signing up? Like I literally was thinking, who could I trick into being an ambassador? Because at the time, ambassadors didn't have a 60-day money-back guarantee. And that was like my crutch. Like that was my crutch that I held on to was, you could get a money-back guarantee. But obviously my PV was pretty high, so no one was taking their money back. But so I had to think of who I could trick into becoming an ambassador. And I tricked 3 people into becoming an ambassador that month. And you guys, I have to tell you that it was actually a very traumatic month for me. I had a second trimester miscarriage of twins in the month that I went silver. And that happened on October 17th. And I hid from the world for 2 weeks. And I woke up on October 25th and I said, I have 6 days. If I want this iPad, I have to do it. And the only thing I knew was that I had 1,000 PV, but I had 1 new customer. I didn't have any ambassadors, and I needed 2 customers and 3 ambassadors. And I woke up and I said, if I don't try, I will regret not trying, and I have to try. And so for 6 days, I worked so hard because I wanted that iPad. And I didn't even know what silver meant, but apparently you go silver when you get 3 ambassadors. And so I told my husband, I said, if I can earn this iPad in the next 6 days, then I have to try this business because maybe it actually works. And he said, well, you're already making $500 a month, so might as well. And I was like, okay. And so you guys, I was in the depths of despair and grief, and I just determined that nothing was going to stop me from going after this goal. And it seems like a silly goal, but the long story is I'd been asking my husband for 6 months for an iPad. And so I knew that if I earned it, that great, no money spent. And on October 31st, I signed up my 3rd ambassador. I went silver. I had 3 new customers. I had over 1,000 PV. And I got an email 2 weeks later that said, congratulations on earning an iPad from Plexus Worldwide. I got another email that said, congratulations on becoming a silver ambassador. Enjoy your $100 bonus. And I had no clue what that meant. And I had no clue that my life had just taken a huge turn because I don't know if you guys know who Wendy Larson is, but Diamond Ambassador Wendy Larson is I am her level 2. And that month when I had almost 2,000 PV and I earned an iPad, I was one of 3 people on her team as an Emerald Ambassador that earned the iPad. And she said, I don't know who this level 2 is, but I need to. And she called me and said, hey, I'm Wendy. We met back in February at Renee's house, and I noticed you earned the iPad. Congratulations. And I was like, thank you. And she was like, I'm having a Christmas party. Do you want to come? And I said, sure, I'll come. And I went to her Christmas party, and her Christmas party happened to be the day that she picked up her Plexus Lexus, her first Emerald Plexus Lexus. And I was stars in the eyes, like, I couldn't, A, believe that she invited me to her Christmas party, B, that she actually earned a car. Like they were paying her to have this car. I couldn't, my mind was blown. And at the end of the night, 2 of her Ruby ambassadors at the time, Ruby or Senior Ruby, I can't remember, they said, hey, let's go take a picture with Wendy's car and we can put it on our dream board. And I was like, what's a dream board? And they were like, oh, we'll teach you. Do you want to come take a picture? And I was like, sure. And I'm like brand new silver, guys. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna take a picture with this car because I want one. Who doesn't want a free car? So I go out there in the freezing cold December Minnesota weather and I pose next to her car all like this. And I took that picture and I had no clue what was about to happen because that month was the month that Wendy said, I want to coach you and I want to help you get to Emerald. And I was like, that would be amazing. Like, okay. She said, you've already got it. Like, you're already doing the stuff because I keep seeing your PV is really, really high. And the next 3 months I was in Lori Welch. I don't know if you guys know who Diamond Ambassador Lori Welch is. She's got over 30,000 people in her downline, and I was in her top 5 PV earners for 3 months in a row right after that. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to be Emerald tomorrow. Now, mind you, I still didn't know anything about the comp plan. I had no clue what the next rank was after Silver. I just kind of thought maybe you skip from Silver to Emerald, right? I had no clue. I thought I had arrived when I hit Silver. I thought, takes 5 minutes to go from Silver to Emerald, and I will be there tomorrow. And then Hawaii, hello, sign me up. I'm going to Hawaii. And you guys, from that point until now, obviously it's been 4 years since I first heard about Plexus. It's been 3 years since I started working the business actively, and the journey has been absolutely incredible. It has been the biggest, most unexpected blessing I could have ever prayed for that I never prayed for. And honestly, you guys, I'll expound on this a little bit after Darla shares, but the people that you get to meet and like meeting Darla through this company is the biggest blessing. Like the paychecks are awesome, the rank ups are great, and the gifts are fun, and the earning prizes is awesome, but really the relationships keep me going far more than anything else. And I know Darla and we have an outstanding coffee date. One of these days, we're going to be actually able to sit down and have awesome coffee, and hopefully it'll be in Hawaii this year. And, and no one's going to interrupt us, and it's not going to be waving across the room at convention. But what I know of her, I just adore her, and you guys have such an awesome leader, and you guys are blessed to be on Darla's team, and you guys know that. I mean, you all know that, but I'm so blessed to even just know her and call her my friend. And I would trade the paychecks just to keep the friendships that I've earned in Plexus. So, all right, I talked too long. There you go.
Well, thanks for making me feel emotional there at the end. I feel the same. Honestly, if it was just putting in the grind for the paycheck, that's not what keeps me. It really isn't. And it's not like the relationships within my team is super, super priceless, but it reaches even further. I mean, I have friends all over the country that I never would have ever met if it weren't for Plexus. And just such a instant bond, and we're all reaching for the same goals. And I love how everybody cheerleads each other. That is just amazing to me because women can be catty. And women can be very nasty to each other. And I don't feel that within Plexus. I feel like we're all just cheering each other on. So how did we even meet?
I have no clue.
I think it's just because
I think it's because Wendy or whoever invited you to like come to a team wellness event. I honestly think the first time we met was at the Sonia Dudley mindset training in Minneapolis. Weren't you there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wasn't you. Just kidding. Met somebody else.
No, I tried to join Team Wellness.
Yeah.
At the beginning under Casey, because Casey and I went to college together, and she was once she figured out like I have, and I don't mean this with disrespect, but that there's not a lot above us in our team, not like what you guys have anyway.
Yeah.
She was trying to get me to switch underneath her so that I'd have more support. And then when I found out that I wasn't able to because of all the hoops I'd have to jump through, they let me join the Team Wellness page, like to be a fly on the wall, because I was just trying to figure out like, how do I even start a team page? What does that even look like? So just to kind of have some support. And I think I don't know, you stood out to me in there, and I started kind of friending some people and trying to surround myself with positive people. So anyways, so something that Kathy didn't say, and I want my team to know this, is that she is a busy mama of 4 boys. 4 and under?
5 and under, yeah.
5
My
under?
oldest just turned 5.
Okay, well, I have 1 boy, and let me tell you, I'm super impressed that she can work a business with 4 boys in her house at her feet. Okay, so if anybody thinks they're too busy, I guarantee you, Cassie has you beat.
Yeah, my boys are 5'4", 2.5, and 9 months. And the baby's asleep right now. My husband's not home, and the older 3 are watching Horton Hears a Who. So We're good. we're dialed in style tonight. Normally on Monday nights, it's like every 2 seconds, one of them is wanting to see who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Okay, and so I want to say to your team, Cassie, which I know there's not a ton on here, but you are recording this. So
Yeah.
I want to say to you guys, like, be so grateful for what you have, not just in Cassie, which that in and of itself is amazing, but you have a rich heritage above you. I mean, you guys have such an amazing lineup of people in your upline that are there for you, okay? And not everybody has that. And don't take that for granted, because I'm telling you, like, just watching your guys is the opportunities you have with your Ruby retreat and the way that your upline pours into you guys, that is priceless. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine what that's like at all. And that's not to bash who our upline is. I just think we're on such a massive team that we kind of just have gotten lost in the shuffle a little bit. So, but that also gives us the opportunity as a team to rise to the challenge and develop ourselves as leaders. And I think God knew that that's what we all needed. So we're going to do it together, and it's going to be rewarding when we get to the place where we can be the upline pouring into people and training people and inspiring people. So I'm excited for that. It is intimidating, but it's exciting too. So, all right. So my team has heard my story, so I'll give it really briefly here. I too, like Cassie, the first time I heard about Plexus was on Facebook. A friend of mine posted down in Texas, and she was, holding pictures of her cute little pink drink, looking all adorable, and I just thought it was whatever. I just like, yeah, that's cute. Move on. But I also too was in the midst of hot mess mamaville, where I was really, really struggling with health issues that stemmed all the way back from junior high when I was diagnosed with mercury poisoning from a filling that leaked into my bloodstream and broke down my immune system, wreaked havoc on my gut health. I had crazy, I mean, I had candida yeast to the point where they called it candida poisoning in my body. Really bad. And so I was doing candida elimination diets, like super strict diets, all kinds of supplementation, all kinds of cleanses. I don't know if you guys know what a colonic is, but it's not very fun. You need to look that up. It's kind of just like professional enemas where they clean out your entire system. Just trying to get my body out of this crazy toxic state. Fast forward to college, I got mono, wore my immune system down even more, and I was living on absolutely nothing financially. So my food intake was pretty poor choices, just based off of what I could afford. Then I graduated college, went right back to nursing school. Super crazy. I was working full-time as a CNA, going to nursing school, eating whatever I could afford again. So it was like Taco Bell, 99-cent bean burrito, whatever I could afford. And so my immune system just kept taking more and more hits. And so by the time I started having babies, I mean, I was depleted. My immune system was shot. I was sick all the time. I remember like figuring out, okay, I'm sick. I can't take any medicine, but I can like drug myself with baby Benadryl so I can sleep. I mean, that's just kind of how I survived. And then my first pregnancy, kind of like you, Cassie, I had kidney stone issues. I had UTIs, which in fact weren't really UTIs, but they made me like go on antibiotics most of my pregnancy. That's my first baby. So talk about poor gut health. So anyways, fast forward to 3.5 years ago when my friends started posting on Facebook. I had tried everything. I had gone to naturopathic doctors. I had spent ungodly amounts of money on regimens that I really didn't feel were helping me that much. And so I was desperate. I was super desperate. And so when I tried Plexus, it was out of this like, whatever, I'll try anything. And my friend is swearing by this. And Plexus changed my life. It truly, truly changed my life. I went from, my husband would walk in the door every day and I wouldn't beg because he would never say no, but like I was just ready to go lay down. I was like, I'm going to go to bed now since you're home. And that's how I lived my life. I lived from one nap to the next, and I lived from one cold to the next, or one virus to the next. And it was a miserable existence. And I remember standing in my kitchen, kind of like you, Cassie, you had your Oreo and your cold coffee. And I remember standing in my kitchen and being like, is this what every mom feels like? Because like, this is not living. Like, I don't want to feel like this. Like, I don't even want to play with my kids. I don't have the energy to play with my kids. I just want to sleep. And so I actually started out with just the pink drink, kind of like you did. And I was on the pink drink for 9 months before I even tried Triplex. I didn't even know about Triplex. But even just the pink drink alone did enough for my health that I was sold. I didn't know there was a business. I didn't know, I went silver before I even knew what silver was too. I had no idea. I just kind of started. It was actually my sisters and a friend that noticed changes in me and were like, I think I posted one time about there was a 4th of July special, and I posted a little graphic on my page, and I had 3 people bite, and I went silver, and I didn't even know what it was. So I don't say that like lightly, because I know some of you are working hard for silver, but it's just it looks different for everybody. You never know when the timing's going to be right for the people that are watching you. So anyway, then my friend Casey and some other people in my life started posting about Plexus, and I was like, oh, like I didn't really research like I probably should have the products to know how amazing they were. I just knew they made me feel good, made me feel better, and I was told they were all natural, so I trusted my friend that shared them with me. But then my naturopathic doctor's wife started posting about Plexus, and I was like, well, shoot, like if they're promoting this stuff, then it has to be really good, right? And so that's when I started really researching more and delving into Triplex and what it was all about and all that stuff. And I reached out to, it was actually Jeannie Wetzel. You know Jeannie, right? That's not her last name now.
Yep.
Yeah. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I'm like, do you think I should do this Plexus business thing? Do you think I'd like have a shot at it? She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, yeah. She's like, people respect you and you're a person of influence and you're a nurse, so that gives you credibility. Like, yeah, you should totally do it. But then I was just like, I don't know how. Like, I don't have anybody to really teach me what to do and whatever. So it's been interesting. It's been a journey. Not having a personal coach, but these amazing people on our team, like they're so gracious and patient with the fact that we're all learning together. And they're amazing. But yeah, I'm so thankful for the opportunity, and truly, I never thought I would have an opportunity to replace like a full-time nursing income and stay home with my babies. And so many years of being at work 12-hour shifts and just thinking about like my kids are home and missing half of their childhood. Just so sad about that. And so God knew He was hearing my cries and my prayers. And He brought this into my life when I was the anti-network marketing girl. I was that girl that's like, I will not do parties. I will not sell stuff. I went to nursing school so that I could go to work and come home and not like peddle stuff to my friends. Like I had a really big chip on my shoulder about that. So God had to humble me and show me that He was providing something that was way bigger than me, and that it was going to change my life. So
I love it.
That's my nutshell story.
I don't think I ever heard your full health story, so that is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad this is recorded, because then I'll post it on my team page and everyone will love it. Thank you again so much for sharing. And I'm so glad this just is like, I love doing team calls together because I love meeting more people in Plexus, and I love being able to hear just more. Every time I hear a story, it never gets old, you guys. If you're a newbie, like, and you're thinking this is too good to be true, just wait. Like, there will be stories that will continue to blow your mind because they are so incredible, and they will, they'll just keep encouraging you. And okay, so Darla mentioned the Ruby retreat. She kind of threw that in there a little bit. And I just got home yesterday from Nashville, Franklin, Tennessee, and my upline is so Wendy has adopted me as her level 1, and then above Wendy is Jarrett and Kristen Abart. I don't know if you guys know who they are, but you should follow them if you don't. Jarrett and Kristen Abart are, so I'm their level 3. 1, 2, 3. And so Kristen decided to host for all of her rubies and above. You had to be ruby by the end of January. And she's decided to host this retreat in Franklin and invite us all to come down to or around or wherever we're from, come to Franklin and stay at a hotel together. And then, so it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Friday night, they had a diamond panel on basically under Lori Welch. Lori was invited into it as well, even though Kristen and Jared are under Lori. So some of Lori's team was invited into it as well. But basically, just a minute, pause. I put up the baby gate, and now one of my kids can't get upstairs.
I need to reach out to our upline and see if they're ever going to do something like that for us.
Okay, sorry.
Did you guys have to pay for anything, just like your transportation, or did you have to pay for your meals and stuff?
We had to pay for our transportation and our hotel, and but they catered. They catered in 2 meals. Oh, so the hotel had this insane breakfast. It was like made to order omelets, and then so breakfast was taken care of, and then they catered in 2 meals, and then Wendy treated her team to lunch. So I paid for 1 meal, like 1 real meal. So yeah, so they had on Friday night, they had a diamond panel of 9 diamonds. And I got so emotional during that time because I was sitting there looking at this panel of diamonds and thinking, I'm a part of this team. Like these are like sidelines. I'm a part of this. Like I was so humbled and I got teary-eyed so many times just thinking, I get to be a part of this. This is incredible. And these are the names that are on the leaderboard all the time. This is Lori Welch and Fallon Black and Jarrett and Kristen Abart and Wendy Larson and James Easling and Brenda Martin, Charlotte Seams. Who else was up there? I'm missing one. Amber Miller. All of these people. And I was overwhelmed with emotion because I kept thinking, these are my uplines. These are my diamonds that I get to learn from. What an incredible blessing. And they were amazing. They had so much. They had specific questions that they were answering from a chat that we were all in. And then they had an opportunity for each of them to speak and to share from their heart what was on their heart. And so I just wanted to share with you, actually the funny thing is my two biggest takeaways were from the guys. So I just want to share with you what James Easling said and what Jarrett Abart said that really impacted me. And James was sharing a little bit of, I don't know if you guys follow Shoshana Easling, but her health testimony. And he was sharing it from his perspective, being the husband to a wife with chronic Lyme disease. And he said that she was literally on her deathbed. He said when she said at convention she was looking for a wife for her husband, she wasn't joking. She was legitimately looking for someone to take her place because she was on her deathbed with Lyme's. And she was all their holistic doctors. I mean, she's an herbalist. She's got all the naturals in her arsenal, and nothing was working. And he said that when Plexus came along and when Jarrett and Kristen shared Plexus with them, it was kind of like, well, we've tried everything else. What's one more thing to try? And he said, and he got really emotional even as he was sharing it. And he said, the fact that these products gave me my wife back, he said, I will forever be in debt to this company because of these products, because they gave me my wife back. And he said, it used to be every conversation with Shoshana, I didn't know if she would remember the conversation 5 minutes later. And he said, now that rarely ever happens. She remembers every detail of everything I say. And of course she was in the room laughing, but you could tell it was true. He had lived with a wife who was so ill and that he thought she was going to die. And these products brought her back to her vivacious, amazing self. And he just said, I'm telling you this, even though a lot of you might know the story, because I want you to realize the impact of what you have. And he said, and when diamonds and whatever say, it would be selfish of you not to share. He said, if Jarrett and Kristen had said, oh, Shoshana doesn't, James and Shoshana, they're herbalists. They know what they're doing with the bulk herb store. They don't need this. He said, my wife could have died. And he said, so never, ever miss an opportunity to share these products, because you don't know whose life will legitimately be changed forever. And so that was, it was so impactful. And James is a really soft-spoken guy, and he's not, you could tell he was so uncomfortable just being on stage. But for him to share from his heart like that, it was so impactful and so amazing. And just another affirmation of what we have is life-changing. And then what Jarrett said that was awesome, and he put into words something that I have been feeling, but I couldn't find the right words to communicate it. And when I'm talking to my team about ranking up or going silver or going for gold, or my goal to be emerald by the end of July this year, when I'm talking to my team about this thing, I often have a hard time communicating for me that I want this for everyone. And what Jarrett said was, he said, I want diamond for all of you in this room. He goes, some of you might not want diamond. And he said, and that's fine. If you guys don't want diamond, that's fine. And he said, but we want it for all of you. And he said, but we don't want it for our benefit. We want it for your benefit. And when he said that, I just went, oh my goodness. And him and Kristen, they're so genuine. They're so down to earth. And he said, I don't want this, whatever your goal is. He said, if your goal is just to get to emerald, because it was everyone ruby and above in there. He said, if your goal is just to get to emerald, he goes, that's great, but I want it for you, not because it's going to benefit me. And that to me was so exactly what I try to communicate to my people. But he put it in better words than I have found so far, because I know, so my team people listening, I want your goals for you because I know what it will benefit you, because I've been at the place where I wanted silver. I wanted silver because I wanted an iPad, not because I knew what silver meant. And I wanted gold because I actually, by that time, I knew what gold meant. I knew what that income would be. And every step of the way, it has made life-changing impact on our family. And it will continue to do so. And so if you're sitting there thinking, well, I want silver, I want gold, or whatever, or you hear Darla say, let's push hard for this next rank. I don't know how close you guys are to emerald, but I know that there will be a point when it's like, strap on your boots, everyone, and let's push for emerald. And it's not just so Darla can reach this goal and have this title. And it's not just so I can reach this goal and go to Hawaii this year. It's because I know that along the way, that will mean everyone on my team will have reached a goal that will benefit them. And it will benefit them on their journey. And playing right into this, something I was thinking about today was we are all on an even playing field when we enter Plexus. We all paid $34.95 plus a triplex usually to get started in this business, and then we get to choose what we do with it from there. We all get to choose. No one has a gold star on their head. No one has special unicorn fairy dust following them around so that they rank up faster. But we have all been given the same opportunity, and we get to choose if we are going to reap a harvest, and we are going to bring in the harvest, and we're going to work hard, work daily, be consistent, or if we're just going to say, oh, whatever happens, happens. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. If I'm meant to be emerald, it'll happen. Or if I'm meant to be gold, it'll happen. Instead of saying, I'm going to put in the consistent work to reach my goals. And me and my sister like to say, I'm going to work as if it depends on me, and I'm going to pray and trust as if it depends on God. But if we don't work like it depends on us, I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to just magically fall in your lap, because it can take consistent hard work. And one of the diamonds was saying was, if you are scared of the growth that comes with going ruby or even gold, maybe gold sounds really intimidating to you, just know that it's worth it. It's always, every step of the journey is worth it. And Darla mentioned earlier, the thought of being Emerald is overwhelming, and however many people that means to be on your team and all of that. And one thing Jarrett said again was, he said, yeah, it might seem overwhelming to have, be a leader of that many people. He said, but the time freedom that you get when you're at an income level of a Jewel, he said, is way worth it. And he said, if you're in the trenches right now and you're working hard to rank and you're working hard and you're feeling the pressure, he said, the pressure is where you grow, and there really is time freedom on the other side of financial freedom. So
I believe that. I totally believe that.
Yeah.
'Cause that was something I was telling my husband. I was like, Emerald doesn't just change things for us financially, it changes things time-wise, because we have the margin to do what we need to do, like for childcare and for things like that. It changes a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It will be worth it. I've never heard an Emerald say it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. So, does anyone have any questions about anything I said or Darla said or anything like that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully I have a
when
good
you
answer.
say, what?
I said, hopefully I have a good answer.
So when you say that, like, Wendy personally coaches you, like, what does that look like?
Well, I kind of got lucky because Wendy and I connected as really good friends as well. So we had breakfast 2 weeks ago and talked about life for 75% of the time. And then it was like,
Sure.
oh, what's this? Let's talk about that.
Sure.
But one thing that Wendy does really, really well on our team, and it's something that pretty much everything I do, I've copied from Wendy. And I just look at what she does and copy it. If I'm in a few of her leader chats, and whenever she poses a question, whether it's, hey, comment a GIF of what you're doing this weekend, I'm like, well, that's a good idea. And I'll go over to my chats with my team and say, comment a GIF of what you're doing this weekend. Because I just follow smart people. If it works for her, it's going to work for me. And so I'm going to do the thing smart people do. And I'm going to make it me, but I'm going to also, make it work for me. And so she's really good with group messages and three-way messages. And so whenever I sign someone up, so in January, I signed up 6 new level 1s. So whenever I'm doing that, I will instantly, as soon as they're signed up, I start a three-way message with Wendy, and I say, hey, Wendy, I just wanted to introduce you to Susie, and Susie just joined our team. She's super excited to get started with the triplex. She also loves, she has a little farm in Ohio, and I know you have a farm. And so I just thought you guys could connect on that level. And then Wendy always gets in there, and she doesn't take she always replies within a day or two. And she says, hey, Susie, it's so nice to meet you. I'm here to support you just like I support Cassie. So feel free, if you have any questions, drop them in this three-way chat. Obviously, Cassie is competent to answer them on her own too. But here's my story. And she'll send her diamond documentary usually. Just so you can kind of get an idea of who I am. And then she'll say, tell me about you. Are you married? Do you have kids? Whatever. And so that's one way that she's constantly helping me, is just building that connection and bringing people into the connection of family. And I don't know if you guys all attended Super Saturday, either in person or live, but one thing on the live video that Jennifer Leith said that really impacted me was, she said, people don't always stay because there's awesome products, and they don't always stay because there's an awesome comp plan, but they will almost always stay if they have a good connection with someone. And that was like, ooh, that's good. And creating those connections is really, really important. So when Wendy coaches me, it's that kind of stuff. It's also running numbers. When I'm close to a rank up, it's, okay, how can we strategize this? Okay, last month we had 24 people order under 100 PV. If those 24 people had ordered over 100 PV, we'd be Senior Ruby, that type of thing. And so those were, I would probably say, the main 2 ways, is helping helping create that connection, bringing people into the team, making them feel like it's not just me and them, but they're part of something bigger. And then running numbers and knowing the back office, knowing your downline, knowing what numbers mean what as far as team goes. I mean, she knows my team.
Mm-hmm.
She knows all my people that are working. She knows who's not working. She knows where the growth is, where their growth needs to be. She's in a chat with all my people who want to be gold.
That's cool.
And encouraging them. And every once a month, probably we do a Zoom with those people just so she can have more FaceTime with them. So, yeah.
It's pretty awesome to have her in your back pocket.
I feel super blessed. It was funny in Tennessee this weekend. There was people like, oh, you're on Wendy's team? And I was like, yeah, I'm on Wendy's. And they were like, you're so lucky. And I was like, I forget that she's like a rock star in Plexus, because to me, she's my friend Wendy, who has chickens and dogs and lives on a cute little farm.
There's Angela has a couple questions here in chat. She says, what are the leader chats? Just in Messenger? How many people go into one? What do rank up chats look like? How often do you post on them?
Awesome questions. Okay, so I have a leaders chat for my team, and I also have so my team is called Team Hope, and I also have a Team Hope info events something chat. So my leaders chat are people that have expressed to me they want to be a gold ambassador, and they're actually putting in work. Because I have a lot of people who've told me, I want to be gold, and then they've never recruited one person. And so I'm like, well, let's get you to silver first. And so that's just in Facebook Messenger, just a group chat in there, and I title it something. Usually I add an emoji in the title so I can find it easily when I'm scrolling through. And they are daily activity. Like, there is daily talk in them. If people are being quiet, I will throw in a comment with a GIF about what you did this weekend, or how do you feel about the Olympics, wah, 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 or whatever. Like, I'm not wah wah about the Olympics. I love the Olympics, but those type of things. I keep them relational and I keep them Plexus. So, for example, last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, hey guys, I need help with our team page. I cannot be the only person posting every day. I need you guys to step up in some way. I don't care. And I gave them like 20 ideas, and I said, pick one and do it. And it worked. They did stuff. So that's good. And then like, I'm a part of 3 or 4 different chats for Wendy. Obviously her as a diamond, she's got more dynamic. So I'm in her level 1 leaders chat. I'm in her rubies and above leader chat. I'm in her events leader chat. So I'm in so many chats, it's ridiculous to keep track of, but, and those are daily activity too. But, in the more intimate ones, like there's people that are sending us prayer requests. Like we had one today. Hey, my mom's in the ER. Can you guys just pray for me? I have to drive there. And everyone's like, oh yeah, sending prayers, praying for you. So and then it's back to, hey, I'm having trouble in my back office. Can anyone else, look this up for me or whatever? And so that's kind of what they are. Are they new chats open monthly, or is it the same running chat? They're not open monthly. They are, the ones that I have they've been going for a while, and the ones I'm in with Wendy's people have been open for a while. I do revamp mine often. I'm constantly looking for interaction. I'm constantly looking for, does this chat still have purpose and engagement? If it kind of dies, then I just kind of will take people out of a chat and just leave it, silent or whatever. Or I'll change the title of the chat. Do not post in here because it's dead. No one's posting.
What does the structure of your team look like? Like, how many silvers and above do you have?
So, so obviously I've been in Plexus a long time, and it's been I didn't talk about this, and I wanted to. Personal growth, I have a list all of a sudden. Personal growth is a huge, big deal. And if you guys haven't figured that out by now, beware you will. And I have become the best version of myself so far. on this journey with Plexus. And I've learned so much about business. I've learned so much about network marketing, and I've learned so much about myself as a leader. And I say all of that because what I'm about to tell you is going to sound amazing. And I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn or whatever, or that I've got it all figured out. I've learned by trial and error. So I have over 120 level ones. Now, not all of them order all the time. And I have over 330 people on my team. Obviously, not all of them order all the time, or I'd be Emerald by now. So when I went gold, I had really high attrition all the time. So I had people signing up just as fast as people were quitting, or vice versa, however you want to say that. Just as fast as I could sign people up, I had people dropping off the wagon because I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to connect with my level ones, or, I mean, some of my level ones, but level 2s and 3s, I didn't know how to do all that. And so, or duplicate. I didn't know how to retain. I didn't know how to duplicate. And I just was not a master at those things. And so I have learned a lot, and I have one gold on my team. And she went gold the month after I went ruby. So I went ruby with a whole bunch of silvers. And based on where I'm at right now in the projection, and based on, you can pretty much project based on past, unless you all of a sudden find a rock star who's like, fast start gold, woo, you know. But you can do pretty good projections with past numbers. At this point, I will probably only have 2 or 3 golds by the time I'm Emerald, if things keep going the way they are, and I want to be Emerald by the end of July. And that just means that I have submitted a little bit to myself that for me to go Emerald, it's going to take a lot of people doing a little bit of work. Just because I have an awesome team, but it's not a team of people who have found a why that drives them to do more or dream bigger or have goals of being ruby or emerald. And so for me, I know that until that happens for my people, or until I find someone who has that, I have to be okay having team members who are okay being silver. And for a while, that was really hard for me. It was hard for me that they didn't want more than silver. And I was like, why don't they want more? Who would want more than silver? And now I'm okay with it. If I have somebody who's super happy being the silver ambassador, I cheer them on. I support them. I connect with them. But I don't push anyone to.
I mean, I think that's impressive, though, that you have so many silvers, because I found that people either want it all the way or they don't want it. And so I've had a hard time outside of the people that, show up to these team calls and whatever, getting anybody to bite with me, even helping them go silver.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously I still have one person, maybe 2 on right now. And my team meetings used to be 15 to 20 people a week. And now, for whatever reason, I got 1 who's on right now. And it could just be the time difference today. But I mean, recently, in the last month, I've had 5, 6 people on every week. And sometimes 1. I mean, a couple weeks ago, it was just 1. Me and 1 girl just chatted it up. It was awesome. And that's hard for me because I want everyone to want it. But I'm okay. Like, if they don't want it, I can't make them want it. I can't motivate them. They have to. This is one of those things where I'm not their boss. They are their boss. And I can't motivate them more than they're already motivated. I can inspire them, but inspired people doesn't mean they're motivated people.
Well, and you can't physically send out messages for them.
Exactly. I can't work it. I can't work the business for them. And so I have determined, I mean, I've heard, you guys have probably heard people, if you listen to Diamonds on YouTube or whatever, you've probably heard them say, be the rock star you want on your team. And so that has been me. I have been the top recruiter every month forever and ever and ever, because I'm determined to be the rock star on my team. And I had somebody ask me at the Ruby retreat this weekend, oh, do you feel like now that you're Ruby, you have tapped out your warm market? And in my mind, your warm market is a myth. Your warm market is whatever you make it. So I was like, nope, not even close. And that's just because I am continuing to expand my warm market. I'm continuing to become friends with more people and bringing people into my warm market. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. I mean, because I'm probably a lot more a few strong legs than I am wide.
Yeah, I have. Okay, so outside of my primary leg, I have, you all probably understand this, but when you rank up, you have to have points outside of your primary leg. So I have enough points outside of my primary leg usually to be emerald. So my primary leg is awesome, but they haven't really re-ranked to gold even. And so I went and I just listened to the good advice of other diamonds and just said, just keep going wide, just keep adding level ones and helping them go silver if you can. And if you can't, you can't.
Oh, because like when you do go emerald, think of how much your people's belief is going to soar.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to have all these silvers that all of a sudden want to work, and they're already there. They're already in place.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I would just add to that, just for everyone's benefit, is you may have heard this phrase as well, but it's really, 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 really true. If your why doesn't make you cry, you need a better why. And it took me I'd been working in the business for a full 7 months. I was actually gold before I had a why that made me cry. And now it makes me cry all the time. I cried today. And I cried today because of my why. And I was on my kitchen floor cleaning up a major spill and children screaming. And I just was like, I haven't seen my husband in 3 days, and I had to come home and he's been at work for 14 hours. And I cried, and I was just like, God, when am I gonna have breakthrough? When am I gonna get to that point? Because I want my husband home, and I need my husband home. And the other part of that is that my husband wasn't created for the job that he does. He was created for something so much bigger than installing carpet and ripping out pea carpet. And he comes home and has to throw away his clothes because they're contaminated with whatever house he was in that day. And that breaks my heart. And I know what he was created to do, and he gets to do it this much. And I cannot wait for the day when he gets to fully do everything he was called and created to do. And so I would just encourage you guys, if you think about your why, but then if your why is your family or your why is your husband or whatever, don't let that be your excuse for working. Because at the same time that my husband really is my why, I can't let that be my excuse. So in full transparency, there's nights where we go to bed and we have marriage time and he falls asleep and I get up and work. Because I'm not going to let my why be my excuse of, I need time with him right now because this is when he's home. Well, he's asleep. So, and I'm a night owl, so I got till midnight. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my work and not let my why become my excuse, and that's the same with my kids. This is for my kids. But if I let them take up all my time, then they become my excuse and they're not my why anymore. They're just my excuse for not doing work. And I mean, just today, my boy said, Mom, are you a green diamond yet? We have a paper on my wall over here that you guys can't see, and it has pictures of different colored diamonds, and they know when we cross one off, certain things get to happen. And when Mommy is a green diamond, we get to go to Disney World. And so they know, they ask. And on my dream board, there's pictures of the Pottery Barn bedding that they want from, Star Wars and Spider-Man. And so they ask all the time, Mom, are we going to get my Spider-Man bed yet? Are we going to get my Batman bed yet? And so they're a part of it with me. And when I tell them, hey, Mommy has to go do a plexus call, you need to be extra quiet. They're little boys. They come in sometimes, but they understand this means Mommy is working. And I make them a part of it. So hopefully that's encouraging.
Yeah, no, it is. And same with my girls. Ella came to Milltown several weeks ago, and we meet at a coffee shop every Tuesday. And
fun.
On the way home, she goes, Mommy, it was really cool to meet your team. Like, you have some really cool people. She's precocious. She's 8, but she's like, I love getting to see like what you do and like understanding it a little bit more. because she sees me on my computer and she sees me on my phone, and she knows what the products are about. But to actually see what is precocious is like she thinks she's older than she is, kind of like, I don't know, like she thinks she's like 28, So, no, but it's cool. And you know what? They're watching. And like, to me, I want to inspire my girls that, even though I quit my full-time nursing job to be home with them, I'm a fighter and I work hard, and you can do anything you put your mind to. And that's a great example. Even of the Proverbs 31 woman, not that I'm claiming to be the Proverbs 31 woman, but she worked hard.
Yeah.
She stayed late and worked, at lamplight. She got up early. So I don't think that it has to be all or nothing. Like, you either have to be a career woman or you have to stay home and not bring in any income. We can make gangster money from home.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh,
So anyway.
Man. So good. And anybody else have any other questions?
Thank you so much for jumping on with us.
Oh my goodness. Totally.
It was so fun to get to know you a little bit better.
I know. It's super fun. And maybe we'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so side question, where in Minnesota are you?
Brainerd.
Okay, we've been to Pequot Lakes and Nisswa
Oh my goodness.
for fishing and vacations, so yeah.
Of course, fishing and vacations.
Yes, car races, yeah, all that.
Yeah, I live in Vacation Town, Minnesota. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and right now we have 3 feet of snow outside. So.
Good times. At least there was sunshine today. So.
We have green grass with all the rain we've had.
That's like when we were in Tennessee, it was 70s every day, and I was like, "It's summertime in February."
Yeah, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. It's warm. It's warm here. It's not normally this warm.
I couldn't believe it, you guys. I was thinking, my body was legitimately in shock.
Yeah. And I went to visit my parents in South Carolina a couple weeks ago, and it was really nice. And I'm like, do people realize how blessed they are that they don't have to live with 6 months of winter? I mean,
They don't.
really. So,
No.
anyways, thanks for jumping on.
You might not see the ground. Oh, okay. No more questions. I was just making sure the chat was going off. So, okay, I will post this on YouTube, and I will send Darla the link. And hopefully I can do it tonight, but I hear my little baby crying. So
That's fine. Whenever.
Be with him. But I'll definitely send you guys the link, and you guys can share it around. And I think we're pretty compliant, so should be good.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.